Good morning. Today is July 31st, 2024. The time is now 9:01 a.m. I'm Kevin Day, Chair of the Custer County Board of Commissioners. I will call this meeting to order. If you do have your cell phones, if you could please silence them at this time.
Good idea. I'll do that for you.
All righty.
This time.
And then do you want to bring the invocation today?
Sure.
And Lucas, could you lead us in the pledge?
Absolutely.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, please be seated. Let us pray. Oh God, as we convene today's meeting of the Board of Commissioners, grant us in all our doubts and uncertainties the grace to ask what you would have us to do, and that the spirit of wisdom may save us from all false choices, and that in thy light we may see light, and in your path may not stumble. Through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, sir. Can we get a roll call, Kelly?
Commissioner Day.
Here.
Commissioner Camden.
Here.
Commissioner Epp.
Present.
And clerk to the board, Kelly Camper, present.
Okay, audience introduction. We'll start with you, Max.
Yes, Maxwell Hanson, Regional Housing Director with UConn.
Rob Klein. Jim Chapman.
All right. And we've got a couple online, VR, Jeff and Deb Adams. So if anybody goes to speak later, if you could identify yourself for the record, I would appreciate that. Any amendments to the agenda?
Yes, the budget resolution number 2418, Wetmore Playground Equipment, that we're going to move that to, that was supposed to be on next month's agenda, so. And we'll have that prepared, and we'll probably have another budget amendment resolution to add on to there as well, so. Okay. Or maybe a couple more.
So we'll take that one off.
Yes, sir.
It's the date next week.
31st.
Next week is the this August 7th, is that right?
Okay. So it's,
Correct. I had to add.
Excuse me, is that an extra copy of the agenda right there or no?
yeah.
Right there.
Oh, you got, okay, thank you.
Okay, we have minutes for July 17th.
I will make a motion to approve the minutes other than with the change at the very end. The rate for Matt Carver was $22.50, not $22.
I'll second the change.
I think you had it written down $22.50 because I think I looked at
Yeah.
your notes one day.
I think I did too.
So
Okay,
anyway,
I'll fix that.
Okay, did you second that, Bill?
Yeah, I did.
I have a motion on the floor to approve the minutes from July 17th with the correction of the rate going from $22 an hour to $22.50 an hour. And that's the only change on there. Any further discussion on those minutes?
No.
no, sir.
All right, those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Commissioner items, Commissioner Epp.
August 21st, the BOCC meeting is to be held at the Wetmore Community Center, not here. So August 22nd, that's the third Wednesday of the month. We won't have a meeting here, it'll be down in Wetmore. And then our BOCC admin has resigned due to personal reasons, effective this Friday. So that leads me into, I had a conversation with Lisa Amon about BOCC admins also being in doing AP clerk job functions, and then kicking the PIO to either OEM or to the IT department, since IT does all the posting of it anyway. So maybe that's a topic or we need to put on next Wednesday's agenda to talk about that.
We can get that job description when we need it.
Yeah, but I'll work on a job description for that meeting if we want something to look at, or do we would just want to put that on the agenda for next?
Yeah, let's discuss
week
it
and
and
discuss
they
it.
end up somewhere else.
So we'll put that on there. And then, yeah, so that's kind of what I had for today. So.
Okay. Well, Kelly just took the notes, so she'll have that on there. Thank you. Commissioner Cannon.
Yeah, two things. KRDO has accepted the fact that they're fixing the frequency for the TV channels. They've been working with thin air, and they haven't got the finalized firewall built yet. You can pass that along to anybody that's wondering. This has not been dropped. It's been pushed pretty hard. It's been hard to get the corporate guys to get their IT guys working, but they aren't now. So I wouldn't be surprised if it comes on very soon.
Is that 11 or 13?
13.
I always forget.
And so that'll help. And David Kissinger, Thin Air, has been working hard on that. He's giving me updates every day. Asked him to keep pushing. Also, I was working the fire suppression ponds that we started off last week. You recall that we get it through that. Working with Terry Skanga, Upper Ark, and the water engineer as well on Christy Coleman's pond. That may or may not fall under that. It's being worked both ways as a supply for a source of water for the Upper Ark or the others. Also, Upper Ark's concerned, and they have concerns about the 30 ponds. What is that?
30 acres.
30 acres of ponds. And it does take 400, whatever, gallons of evaporation to worry about. So they have mixed emotions about fire suppression ponds. Anyway, and I still am working with Upper Ark to get a presentation up here on your strategic plan for the big picture. So we'll do that probably sometime toward the end of August.
So they're worried about the evaporation we have.
Yeah,
in
that's
ponds.
not that much, but every little drop matters.
And it's gotta be replaced.
And it has to, yeah, that's right, it does. And it is replaced from Twin Lakes or somewhere else, that amount of evaporation. So that's why they guard it. It comes at the expense of Kansas is gonna get what they got, so we'll find it. So don't supply the same amount out the valley, that's something. And that's another reason on their big strategic picture, they're looking for other ponds, other sources, either underground in the south end of the valley to help keep that so that that doesn't become an issue. We have our own resupply up here. Anyway, that's all I've got right now. And the airport, don't forget, the Airfest is on the 10th coming up. Is it the 10th?
Yeah.
And there are nice signs up everywhere. Got a lot of people going. OEM's putting out the public health agencies got displays, and it's going to be a lot of vendors out there. It's going to be a good one this year. And it looks like the weather may help. We'll see.
Yeah.
You hope. All right, thanks.
All right, just a couple things from me. On that Wetmore Playground equipment, in conversations with them, that will probably come delivered in mid-August. And conversation with him would basically be an enclosure around that about 30 by 30. So however we want to contain our fill. He has sent me a company that makes basically, I'm gonna say poly blocks. Rather than like railroad ties or something like that. I have not gotten with them yet, and so I'll get the prices on that and for the different fills. The other thing would be, weed board is still moving forward and getting their bylaws addressed, and so that'll come to us shortly.
On the weed board, did Sarah Shields get hold of you? I sent her your way. She was wondering what the schedule for spraying is, because she's spraying on the other side of their fence on Kettle Lane. And so
Probably, I don't know that our weed board knows that schedule. That would be,
Brittany Pierce.
yes, Brittany Pierce knows when they're coming up to do that spraying. And then.
her concern, just so you know, and others would have the same, is making sure that it is gonna be, because she doesn't want to spray on her side if the county's not spraying and
Yes,
getting rid of the weeds there, it'd be bad.
What's her address, and I can reach out to Brittany for her.
I'll
I have not heard from her, so just,
I'll
Make sure
send
she-
you her email.
okay, and I may have it, but give it to me and I'll make sure I get with her on that. And then just a quick note, that the cost share program that that the weed board's facilitating, that can come in whenever they're finalizing their application forms for that. And then that will be distributed at the end of the season. Once they get all of the applications in, they'll know how much they can cost share for each individual.
Good.
So, that's all I have on that today. Dan, do you have anything for us, sir?
I do not.
Kelly?
Actually, I have a couple of things. So, a gentleman brought me in his invoice for weed reimbursement. I don't know, Extension Office used to handle that. Last year, when somebody brought one in, they aren't handling it.
So,
And I'm not, the last I knew, that one from last year didn't get taken care of. So I don't know what's giving it to you.
okay,
Sounds like a weed board job.
and this is, service date, yeah, and that fits right in. They're just about to get their application forms done. I'll give this, make sure they have this, and they can get with him and get that app filled out. And then it'll be reimbursed at the end of the season.
So if any more come in, you want me to just give them to you?
Yes, you can, and I'll make sure you can give them to me, or Reggie is a member of that board as well, so you can give them to either one, but probably if you just give them all to me, that's just a single strand rather than going everywhere.
Yeah.
So just do that.
And then I have a shredding company coming in a couple weeks. There is a lot of finance records in the basement taking up a lot of space. In the past, the finance person never want to get rid of those records. I talked with Lisa about it last week to see like a time period of what to save. She suggested 7 years.
That's for
So
resolutions and everything?
what's that?
What does it include? Is it just finance records or
Yeah,
resolutions?
payroll records, all the invoices that, I mean, it all used to be paper, so there's huge boxes of it. I do not want to get rid of it without your okay.
Let me make a call to San Bernardo, and see what you can say as well.
I talked to him a couple of years ago about it when we did this. He said 7 years also, but go ahead and talk to him and see. I mean,
I will. I was wondering if tax records for individuals was different than what the state's records keeping laws were for counties and city governments.
like
That would
on
be my
the
own thing.
payroll stuff.
Yeah, payroll and our
At
own
least I
financial
don't
records. But I would think so, and I mean, if we're getting the same answer out of both accountants.
I just don't want to get rid of anything that,
And then we would never need it until a week after it happened, and then we'd need it, right? That's what always happens at home.
but when I looked the other day, there's stuff like from 1995. And so, and I think the payroll records are the only ones that need shredded. I talked with Lisa about that too. The rest of it, since it's public information anyway, I'm gonna talk with,
It
Tim
could just be tossed.
to get it recycled
Okay.
instead of tossing it in the landfill. Might as well get a little bit of it.
Yeah, that's very true. What's your thoughts, Dan?
Well, I mean, I agree that you should talk to Mr. DiNardo about timeline from that. I mean, the reality though is there's a lot of financial information in those records, and unless we go page by page, I worry about just discarding and not shredding.
And
Oh.
shredded.
Yeah, I think that it would be more time consuming for us to go through every page to make sure there's nothing that needs to be shredded rather than just shredding it.
Shredding it.
Having a shredding company.
Have a burner party. Get a bonfire,
Yeah, there we go.
roast marshmallows.
All right, well, I'll talk to San Bernardo, and I'll
Oh,
make
yeah.
sure, and I agree with, yeah, if we just shred it all.
Okay. And the quote they gave me for shredding was 50 cents, 30 cents a pound, Yeah.
50 cents of what?
30 cents a pound,
Well, pound. Okay, that makes sense.
yeah.
Plus travel.
They do have a,
Trip charge.
yeah, I don't remember what it is.
Whatever it is, for
But, yeah. So if you want to check,
I'll check.
and then,
Make sure.
and that way we can get some of that cleaned out of the basement, because we're done that room in here.
Okay.
Thank
I
you.
think we're all in agreement on that. Okay,
Hey, before we go any further, may we take a quick break?
yes,
So I'll use the restroom.
we'll have a short recess.
Time out.
Time out, people.
Mind that happens.
How did the rodeo go last week in that rain? Did they have it?
Yeah,
Really? It wasn't raining down here and lightning?
didn't rain as much, apparently.
Really? Oh, man, nobody else forgot about it.
And we got an inch. It went across the top of the range, and then another group came across up above it. Didn't get it hammered as hard.
We're on
Surprise.
break for a minute. Okay, the time is now 9:23 a.m. I will reconvene this meeting. We have no unfinished business, so first item on new business would be accounts payable.
Okay, are we accepting this? What's the proper
Accounts.
motion? We had that discussion last time. I move that we approve the accounts payable for $530,225.08. That's what it is.
Sent a different amount this morning.
If there's a different amount, we're gonna have.
489,047.
No, it's 532.25.
Ah!
She
It's
printed
changed
out,
twice since that
she
one.
printed out,
285.
she printed out a new one and put it on her thing.
I've got that was the new number.
That was the number
No, I don't-
she
okay.
gave this morning.
I would let you look at it.
I believe
it.
In an email.
No, it's not the email, because when Kevin and I went through it quick this morning, and we noticed some problems between all the ones that she had sent out, there was certain pieces of information missing, so this is the final.
Okay,
can
so
somebody
Second,
send
we
me
can
the-
fix it.
And can
doesn't matter.
somebody please send me the
We can fix it
final?
either way.
Final, yeah. I'll have Jen send you.
Okay, so I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you.
Now, is this the right amount? We'll ask that question first.
So.
The 530, yes.
Okay.
Yes, and the reason it's, is now, Road and Bridge mainly is starting to hit their big budget ticket items.
Yeah, they're, the mag chloride, the chip seal oil, and now they have the crusher in here as well, so, and a lot of oil for patch. All right, so I do have a motion on the floor. Is there any other things that anybody would like to discuss here?
No, I didn't have anything yet.
My questions were answered. So I have a motion on the floor to approve the AP report in the sum of $530,225.08. Before I call that question, I would ask for public comment.
Is that a normal number?
It's higher than normal because Road and Bridge just started buying, well, we had the chip sealing, and so that number jumps up right as they start chip sealing.
It's normal for this time of year. It's abnormal for the normal flow because they're not spending as much money as quickly. Road bridge. It's all in the budget, Rob.
Nadine?
Thank you. It's Nadine Peterson. I'm just wondering, I got to the meeting a little late. I was wondering, did you already present the finance update?
There is not a finance update on the agenda today, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
That'll be the second weekend in, it'll be with staff reports on August.
Okay. Those in favor of approving the accounts payable in the sum of $530,225.08, signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. That motion carries. Next item would be the donation of Silver Cliff lots to Upper Arkansas Area Council of Governments. This came to us a couple months ago. I had put it on. Bill, you had some questions for Max, and we met with him, and I met with him and a couple of his staff and worked through some of those. Max is back today to address those issues, and we can hopefully move forward with this today. Max, if you'd like to come up.
Or speak loudly.
Or you could talk from there.
My voice carries, but I
Okay.
don't mind sitting up there.
It's up to you, wherever you would like to
Now
be.
come up here and sit, because people
Sure.
have
That way,
Said they
would
have
be-
a hard time
Yeah.
hearing through the
that's true.
town, so. Thank you, sir.
No problem. So yeah, came back today. The previous BOCC meeting I was here for, Bill, you had a few questions mostly on the ability for a participant in the self-help program to build their home, build that equity, and then sell it off for a profit. So had worked with Kevin, used a template deed restriction format with some clauses in there. One specifically requiring it to be used as a primary residence for a certain term. But then really we're looking for, is there anything else the BOCC would like to see in those deed restrictions before moving forward? Anything we include in there, I have to send to the Office of General Counsel for Rural Development for approval. Their primary thing that they would want to see is a clause that, again, in the event that they have to foreclose for whatever reason, that those deed restrictions are lifted so there's no impediment on them selling to recoup their lost loan. So yeah, really, I'm just looking for
So
what
you ran
else.
that by them already?
Yeah, so that's the main clause that they would like to see. But I need to know if there's anything else that would need to be included in there before we go and record any type of deed restriction on the property.
What's the continuation of, because I know life happens, either they might find a job elsewhere after they get this house built and they live in it 2-3 years per se, and then, you know, family happens or a job change or just life change. What is
They
there
have to
deed
go get out of
restrictions
deed,
on the amount that they can make on that home so that it resells to the next workforce housing person or?
That can be a clause in there, and that's negotiable, I guess.
Okay.
I've seen things, 5 years where you're waiving 20% of the equity each year. That way they're incentivized to stay in there longer so they can recoup their full equity. I've seen caps on appreciation. Maybe you cap appreciation at 3% each year, again, for the same reason. You can have a clause in there that requires them to work in the community if they're then purchasing the home. It really just depends on, again, what you're looking for.
Yeah, and I think talking to our workforce housing committee, it's for the people that work here,
Sure.
not elsewhere. It's not for people to move here and then work elsewhere. It's for our workforce here, so.
Agreed, and that's my goal as well. That's every conversation I've had with the Workforce Housing Committee, staff in Silver Cliff, and local residents has been, we're
So
doing this.
How's the deed rate? Does it say you must have a job in Custer County?
Not currently, no. There's a lot of blank portions in there
Need to
to
do that.
fill in the blank.
And I think we're all in agreement, as well as you, that we would like to see something like that in there then.
So, same issue. You need to present us with what you want to be hit final. And it has to include.
Well,
And that's, I need the recommendations from all of you.
From
What do
us.
you want in those deed restrictions so I can put it in the deed restriction, then present that?
Do you want me to work with the committee on those?
Yeah, we ought to do that, because
So-
sitting here and then we
Yeah,
may
we-
miss something.
I'll work with the committee.
We meet next week, so.
Yeah, and we're going to meet the 8th, so next week, Thursday. So I'll be having those conversations with Barry and the group, and we can put what we want those to be, and that'll be, that's why we had that committee, to make recommendations
Yeah.
for us, so, and they've been in meat and potatoes of this, so.
And it's sort of like, when is it not a low-income workforce, well, whatever you want to call it, it becomes their private property, and they can sell for whatever they want. And therefore, it may be out of range for somebody else. If that's 5 years from now, they can take full equity out or whatever, but you need to think it through.
Again, that's why I
think that's
came
kind
back.
of what he presented here a minute ago. with
Yeah,
the
I think he
5-year
could,
plan.
I think he could pick things and then we go, nope, we don't like that, change it. So I think, well, the best solution would be just for us to, as a
See what it
committee, to give those, here's what we think, vet it out, and then a final presentation
Right.
to the board. And we can, then you're not going back and forth, right, BOCC.
You know, we don't need to waste time arguing about, well, I think it ought to be 3 years instead of 5.
Well, my apologies, because I thought that we were coming back to answer those.
Well, you did, and that
questions
was good, but
today, so, that I would not be opposed to having you guys meet, and then we could have it again right after that meeting when you guys had your recommendations.
And the committee's recommendation is to use these 7 lots for self-help housing. So and he's got a plan. You've got applicants.
Well, we were getting applicants last year, then we had to put on hold because of the moratorium, couldn't move forward. Yep, then I had to pivot to a new development in Florence, so.
Okay.
yeah, that's what
And
happened.
I believe you have apps basically waiting for you to be sending out, depending upon what the decision is on these 7 lots.
Correct.
Is that correct? And they're in queue just waiting for that answer.
You have a process of elimination, of how they qualify, or is that the first come, first served?
It had been a first come, first serve, but there are income requirements. Technically, credit score isn't required, but there is a credit score rural development likes to see in order to qualify someone, no debt collections, things of that sort, so.
Yeah, we'd really like to, I mean, if deed restrictions go off because they've defaulted on the loan, because that's what the bank's gonna want to see, that doesn't help us out at all to make sure that, and I think we've all been in agreement with this too, it's not just a one and done with either the money that we've given towards workforce or these lots, it's that this continues to help our workforce housing, you know, for the next 30, 50 years, whatever it may be, as much as possible.
Yeah, and rural development has built-in programs for applicants that tend to, if they end up struggling to make their mortgage payment, where they will help subsidize to offset some of the costs. They have forbearance where, you know, they don't have to make payments. It can be for several years until they get their feet back under their ground.
And it's a good thing. I mean, if they stay here forever in that same house, it's workforce, it's working here.
Yeah,
right.
That's what we want to see.
Right.
Build some equity up, that they can at least pull some equity out when
Remodel.
they have a life
everything else.
change.
Sure.
No, so I will work with Barry and that committee to set those, what we think those should be, and work with you on what you have seen.
Sure.
From a rural standpoint, so.
Okay. Sounds good. So we'll continue to work on that next week and then hopefully have a draft of exactly what we would like to see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. Thank you. Do you have the form?
I'd submitted a PDF. I don't know.
You send that to me and I'll make sure the board gets that.
That
We can
was
start filling
early
it out.
on, right?
Yeah, it was a while back.
I will get that.
I can send another copy
Yeah.
to everybody too.
Thank you.
Okay.
And I'll make sure that we get that filled out for you.
So fill in the blanks on that. And then
Or-
you'll be there as well to participate in that. So then we can,
I'll have them, what I'll have Barry do is I'll have the committee make a recommendation to the board, probably right before we have you come back, and
Perfect.
then we can decide on
we'll have
that
everything,
before.
we'll have
yeah.
everything.
Maybe coordinate with them so we can get a jump on the gun of getting the state to approve it. Whatever changes that you might have to do. If you don't want them recommending something that would be impossible.
Right.
No, we'll have to collaborate with it very closely. So.
Okay.
I'll take that on
Okay.
with the committee and Barry.
Okay. Thank you.
Very much.
Of course.
All right, so then that's meeting next week. Do we want to set a date to have that come back or wait for the committee to work through that?
So
we put
the
it on?
committee's meeting on the 8th.
Is that Thursday or Friday?
That's a Thursday. The 8th is a Thursday.
Guess we can update.
So maybe the 14th, that meeting. 14th is a Wednesday.
Is that here?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
I think we will get it done. It's just not going to be today.
It's all right. Hurry up and wait. I get it.
What's that?
I said hurry up and wait. I get
Hurry
it.
up and wait.
Yep.
So yeah, if we can get,
Okay. That'll work. Thank you very
Yep,
much.
thank you.
I just got one quick question. So,
Sure, go ahead.
sorry. Is there a stipulation in there saying that these people can't buy these homes and then actually rent them out?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, they're not allowed to do
Okay.
that part of the
All
program.
right, thank you.
Yep.
Max, thank you very
Yes,
much.
thank you.
Thanks for making the trip up.
Of course. Always a nice drive.
You gotta see.
Okay, we have the bids for the Vermont Tower AC unit. Our agenda next.
There's 3 quotes. And they all need well, other than the last one looks like they were going to put in the electrical part of it, but they were way over the other 2, so I recommend we pick my opinion and move forward with it. And then Matt's gonna have Brad Huff come out and do the electrical on that, so.
And that bid is $7,200.
So I make a motion that we accept Pinion Plumbing's bid for the Vermont Tower mini split AC with heat.
I'll second.
We have a motion on the floor to accept the bid from Pinion Plumbing for the mini split AC. And for the sum of $7,200. Any further discussion?
None from me, sir.
Public comment? Seeing none, those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, that motion carries. The next item would be for the Vermont Tower generator.
So the second one, the Matthews Brothers excluded some things.
That excludes any problems with existing conduit.
Yeah,
any
I'm
lines
not-
for remote
Yeah,
monitoring.
no, it's one and done. It needs to be. I didn't see any exclusions with Territory Electric there, so.
These are all 18 kV.
18 kW is the first one, the other one's 22.
22.
And third one,
18.
What was the minimum needed?
18 kW. 20.
I would entertain a motion.
I move that we accept, what is it, the Territory Electric?
Proposal for-
14,950. Known brand generator.
So a motion to accept the Territory Electric bid for $14,950. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
A motion on the floor to accept the bid from Territory Electric in the sum of $14,950 for an 18 kilowatt standby generator to the Vermont Tower.
Okay, so it's got a 5-year warranty, which is generic.
Mhm.
Does that pay for the labor for the guy that, is the dealer? Or is that just parts?
Probably just, I don't know. I don't know.
And then is there a service agreement too with it that they'll come out and we'll check the oil on it and battery starts it?
I don't know.
Usually,
Fair enough.
that would maybe a separate contract, we don't know.
There is not included with this quote.
I could ask him to propose one. My guess is that
What we buying into.
it's awfully expensive since coming from Canon. But
What's the only dealer? Is there a generic dealer up here? I'm thinking.
so when I checked Generac's site, it says there's a few people that are up here, but they're not advertised as such. I don't know if if they're licensed through Generac, just so that if they want to buy something, they can, or they can get pricing from them. It doesn't actually mean that they service anything.
I guess, price wise, it's okay. We probably ought to know what we're buying, the rest of the story. We can approve it, the whole thing,
Yeah, I can find out those fine details on that.
and we can accept that.
That price, from talking to people who've had them installed on their homes lately, doesn't seem bad. Seems,
The price.
it's more because they're not just installing a generator, they're replacing an existing one. So there's a little more labor in there, taking that one off and
They're
getting that
gonna
one
go
out.
dispose of it, right?
I don't know if we want them to dispose of that. That motor actually works, so maybe it's something we want to auction off when we have a county auction. Or maybe we want to, I don't know, maybe look at something else, maybe, I don't know.
No, I think it's okay, we ought to get just the rest of the story, so we can prove that, and whether we're gonna keep it or not, but whatever we want to do with it.
I planned
It's
on
like an
keeping it,
homeowner, you gotta,
so I planned on keeping it, not getting rid of it.
Okay.
So
so we need the service agreement.
I'll see if that's been what that 5 years covers. I would imagine it's parts and service, but.
Yeah.
But I would imagine it's not an actual service agreement where they come up once a year and service it.
That's
My
right.
guess is that's gonna be extra.
Yeah, it'll be extra, that's all
So,
we need.
and maybe we need to get that pricing just so that we have it. And what's a 10-year, what's a 20-year?
That's what we have to budget.
And this does get split out amongst 5 entities.
Yeah, that's it.
So,
Everybody has to know what they're looking for.
so, but this is just install, just so we know. But I'll get a service agreement from them.
So are you saying you want to wait for a service agreement before we
No, I would
approve the
approve.
installation?
I think we can approve the installation,
That's where I would be at.
and we need to get the rest of the story so we can approve using.
And that's been part of our conversations all along, is to getting something, because the one that's out there now had not been serviced for some time.
It's got it running though, right?
Yeah, it's working.
It's running.
We got time to work with it.
Yeah. So. And we have no motion on the floor at this time, but
Yeah, we do.
I guess we did. Sorry, we got into discussion and I lost it. So I do have a motion on the floor. I need your hat.
That's one there.
So I do have a motion on the floor to approve the purchase. I went back to the mini split. Let me get to the right one again here. So,
Territory Electric.
Territory Electric quote bid for installation of a Generac generator for $14,950. Public comment. Sir?
Yeah, Rob Klein, 2 questions. Are these contracts from in-county personnel?
No, they're not. One person put a bid in and then retracted it, so in fact, we only had one, and we had to beg for two other contractors to give a quote, just so we could have 3 quotes.
Okay. Second question is, don't these contractors, that particular one there, go out and inspect the conduit, which you were talking about, so there's no hidden costs?
Right, well, so I think one did, and I don't think the other 2 that we begged from did. I think they just, here, and we're gonna exclude this, so.
Why they excluded it?
So what happens if they arrive in there and they tell you, they got problems with the conduit or whatever, and X amount of more dollars,
So the first one doesn't have any exclusions.
Well, we accept it.
The one we accept
Okay.
doesn't have any exclusions.
The one we're thinking of accepting.
Yeah, I guess we can vote about it.
One accept.
Is there no contractors in county? I mean, just out of curiosity?
There's a Kohler contractor, but that's it. I don't, any of them that do Generac didn't bid on it, so.
We weren't asking for Generac.
Yeah, we went to all.
How far away are they coming from?
Canyon City.
Kansas City,
Canyon.
Pueblo.
Oh, Kansas City.
The one that's been servicing, the existing generator comes out of Colorado Springs.
Thank you.
Yeah, it does.
Okay. Seeing no other, those in favor of approving the Territory Electric bid to install an 18 kW generator for the Vermont Tower in the sum of $14,950, signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Budget resolution 2418 was removed from the agenda. Any additional items of business?
No, just that, August 21st will be the Wetmore meeting, so.
The meeting in
August
Wetmore.
21st, I had 22nd, and I think that's what you said earlier, but I
Probably
wouldn't
did
swear
say
to that.
Probably did say that.
You can't prove me wrong now, so that's where I'm at.
She probably can.
So, all right, so August 21st is in Wetmore. Airfest is the 10th of August. Any additional items?
Yeah, I have a suggestion. I would like to have Road and Bridge come in and whether it's next meeting or whenever, to give us a status of their plans to chip seal, to repair the roads, et cetera. Just because I'm getting a lot of questions. I see the chip seal going on here. When are they gonna get my road? It's really rat. So it'd be good to get that publicly known a little better. And the other thing is, I've gotten a call, just got it, during this rain, in Rosita, right below the fire station where they did fix that one washout before, it washed again, only not from that. It was something else that's on the other side. I don't know if Vince got that or not. I'm asking
So
you to look
I went and
into
looked at that
Did you?
personally with Vince last week.
it. Good.
When there used to be a cattle guard up between the corners there, right above the chip seal, headed up the hill out of Rosita. That cattle guard was removed some years ago. Water went through that cattle guard and dumped it out into that retaining pond right there. There is a pipe that was put in right there at that lower corner, right by the intersection, but it dumps it all right there. And that driveway culvert can't handle that. They're going to remove that culvert that goes across the county road and move it up to where, approximately where that cattle guard was. There is a lot of fiber and everything right in the middle of the road right there. So they're actually gonna move down the hill just a little bit. That catches all 3 of those drainages, and that will dump into that retaining pond, which will hold a lot of water before then it releases it down. That will help that situation of those landowners right there close. The one gentleman that sent us the pictures and the video, his yard is lower than the bar ditch.
That's a bummer.
What do you do?
Cut it deeper.
So, well, no, you can't cut it deeper, then you got a big hole there.
I know, that's.
Build the land up, and that's not really a viable option either. The lay of the land there,
Yeah, it's kind of
I think it's exasperated by the extra water that comes with a big storm.
And that
But if you wanted to take a ride out there, I'd take anybody out there, or you could go, that gentleman's yard is lower than the ditch. And so, and apparently that's where his septic leach field is in that front yard. So, that's very unfortunate, but I don't know what an answer would be for him. I don't think even moving this pipe will alleviate all of his problems. It will help. I do not believe it will completely take care of all
It
our
has been
water.
raining more than it has been in the past.
So, well, in the recent past.
In the recent.
So, but yeah, I did, and Vince showed me exactly what they're planning on doing there. So that is, they have a plan to move forward with that, and to utilize that existing pipe. It's a brand new pipe.
All right, that's good
To
to
go
know.
larger or something like that, they don't have the pipe, and they don't, after 18 or, that's a 24-inch pipe there that they're gonna be moving up the hill, so it'll carry quite a bit of water.
You want that
Uh,
better than what it is.
Yeah, so that's what the plan is there. We just did that. I have not responded back to that
And I
gentleman
haven't
yet.
seen anything. I just want to make sure that you knew,
So, yeah,
or that it had been done that way. They know publicly with that.
yeah, and they flushed out all those pipes there, right there, trying to help them carry that water, on both sides of 4 feet of road. Although that being said, after a couple of rains, they need, cleaned out again already, because it carries all that material down to them, and the pine needles.
Drain quicker. Yeah.
The pine needles are nasty. They'll plug you up to the very next storm.
Yeah, I'd imagine that's like making bricks, that's like straw and mud, right?
You can't, yeah, you get in there with, try to
Yeah.
shovel them out, you can't do it. You know, everything that's hung up on the outside, you can clean out with tobacco, but, you try to shovel in there, you have to end up just flushing them out. Thank you for bringing that up, because I neglected to mention that. So,
Keep getting cold.
he is working on that. They have a plan, him and Scott actually have it flagged up there where they're gonna put that pipe.
That's all I had.
All right. Public comment.
Okay, I have something, as usual. That's why I'm here.
That's okay.
Good morning to the table, I appreciate the,
One second.
And if you wouldn't mind going ahead and restating your name for the record.
yeah, Rob Klein.
Going up there.
Just so you know, I wore his hat for the occasion.
Oh, sounds like you're there.
I have attended the 17 July 2024 Board of Commissioners meeting and have voiced my concerns on illegal dumping here within the county. The question I have is Custer County homeowners packet factual in its contents for the citizens to take seriously? We just had a board of directors meeting on 29 July 2024, and the president stated he spoke with zoning on illegal dumping, and there was no such restrictions or laws in place. Therefore, owners can dump and bury on their land other than hazardous material, cars, etc. The board of directors, is utilizing the zoning information obtained as an excuse to allow this burying of debris and as a cop-out on their responsibilities under our Declaration of Covenants, which addresses we are governed by zoning restrictions and no parcel shall be used as a dumping ground on private property. The person noticed in the complaint that I submitted to the zoning to be involved in the dumping stated he also went to the zoning office and inquired about the same. He too stated that he was told that there were no restrictions or laws of dumping or burying on private property. Both these gentlemen at the Board of Directors meeting referred to the Custer County homeowners packet under subsection 2.14, which clearly states, quote, "It is illegal to create your own trash dump even on your own land," unquote. The county commissioners have an enactment clause, I believe it's dated March 2024, in place on this resolution to adopt the Custer County homeowners packet. Colorado Code titled 184511 addresses littering to include deposits of rubbish, waste material, garbage, trash, debris, etc. 40 CFR Part 241 addresses hazardous waste. 6 CCR 1007-2 Part 1 speaks sorry about that, speaks of disposal sites. CRS 3020-100.5 speaks of disposal of solid waste. So there are regulations intact covering dumping and burying. The citizens of the county need to know if the homeowners packet is legit and truthful to guide us. As now it was stated at this Board of Directors meeting that dumping and burying debris, trash, wood, etc. is fair game on private property. Is there other statements within this homeowner packet that are false and misleading? It has now become open season on illegal dumping and burying, possibly hazardous, toxic, or debris that could contaminate the land and water down the road. It now seems that the citizens are to close their eyes, put their horse blinds on, look the other way, and become silent on how we bring noticeable wrongdoings to the forefront. It will never be known if this buried debris is classified as hazardous if an investigation as required is not performed. Would the board, the BOCC right here in front of me, please elaborate on burying and or dumping on private property within the county, and does the homeowners packet need to be updated and revised to clarify? Thank you for your time.
Your Board of Directors meeting that you refer to on the front page is your homeowners.
That's correct.
And what they put forth, correct me if I'm wrong here, sir, if they have rules and regulations against that, that's great. That doesn't affect the county. Whatever the county has in place needs to be followed. I would also say that the homeowners packet is put together as informational. Does it need updated? I would say possibly yes, but it is not the regulations that we have put forth. That is in our zoning resolution. So that is what you need to go by. The homeowners packet is informational only, and
But we shouldn't have something
That
in
shouldn't
our
say
homeowners
illegal.
packet that is,
correct.
that makes a statement of this is legal or illegal
Right.
if it isn't in our zoning.
That is correct. So we would probably
Correct.
need to look at that and update that.
Like, I think there's some confusion about legal versus illegal. Whether something is allowed or not allowed by our zoning resolution doesn't mean, if something is not banned by the zoning resolution, doesn't mean that it's inherently legal. Because as the speaker mentioned, there are federal and state laws as well that have to be followed. But it's not the zoning department's job to enforce federal or state laws, just the zoning resolution. It's my understanding that there was some concern that the zoning office wasn't enforcing these federal or state laws, but that's not her job.
Okay.
If there's a violation of federal or state law, criminal violation, then someone needs to go to the county sheriff and make that complaint. Or if it's a federal law, the federal enforcement authority, perhaps the EPA, whomever, and make a complaint with them. But it's not Dorothy's job to enforce every law. It's Dorothy's job to monitor enforcement of the zoning resolution.
Right, and
So-
the public health agency, as a sanitarian, is the one that actually would go out and rob. If there's somebody dumping hazardous material, that's what it really addresses. Or that could contaminate the water groundwater. That is illegal, period. That's
Straight across the board,
Right.
okay, right.
Yeah, and even in your subdivision. And if your subdivision, it sounds like your subdivisions already wants no dumping on it at all, that's up to you guys to sign up to them. So that's covered, and I think the solid waste thing, it says hazardous waste, and it says disposal of solid waste after that. That would be like, which is already illegal, you can't have an outhouse dumping on the ground and moving it around like we used to. That doesn't happen now. It's illegal.
I think you're wrong on that. I think solid waste is considered not just human waste, it's also considered solid waste.
Well, maybe, I don't know,
Yeah.
you would have to understand that, I don't know
And-
how it's used in what context.
And we do not have anything in our zoning resolution against that, to the best of my knowledge.
And so,
And so,
that's right.
that is why my statement to you the other day, I guess I chose not to respond during the meeting the other day. But if they're dumping their trash on their property, as long as it stays on their property and it's not hazardous, there is nothing in our zoning resolution against that. The same way if they wanted to line up all of their old cars from 1950 all the way up through today,
They can do it.
they can do that. Subdivision regulations, that's for the subdivision to enforce. And if they, according to this, they're choosing to wash their hands of it and step back, that's not on us, that's on them. And so that if, for them to enforce their covenants, that is their decision to either enforce or not enforce. So that's not on the county. That's not on Dorothy over here. Hers is to, again, enforce our zoning resolution.
Okay, so
And,
I'm sorry.
go ahead.
Yeah, so even though it says in the homeowners packet, which hopefully is basically our Bible of the citizens,
It's not.
It's not.
it's not.
It has no legal standing. It is,
Even though the resolution clearly states that you guys sign, educate the public concerning building and living in Custer County through the homeowners packet.
it's an informational packet. It's
Okay.
not,
Not a law.
yeah, I mean, I think
And
it's.
using the word illegal there may be a dumb thing to do. I don't know, we have to see why they did that. There's no law.
Okay, and then when it says also in section 12 of it, it says about, which is 12.4 actually, complaints. The planning and zoning office shall begin an investigation within 5 business days of receiving a complaint. So is that, once again, has nothing to do with it?
If there's a complaint that there's a violation of the zoning resolution,
Okay. Then
but
yes.
Yes.
but if there's a complaint that, for instance, someone's violating the Federal Solid Waste Disposal Act, it's not her job to investigate that.
Okay, so in other words, I could get a hold of the EPA, which I really didn't want to do, save the county, headaches and stuff like that. I'm hopefully going to the right, the right
We
procedures.
don't have the manpower to
Okay.
enforce federal and state laws for a zoning office. Again, if there's a criminal violation, you mentioned something from Title 18, which would be a criminal violation, then the county sheriff would be the first person to investigate that.
They already got my complaint.
Well,
And enforcing homeowners association covenants
Absolutely.
is different than.
That's
a
up to
civil
the
deal.
association.
Right, even though a homeowners association does have a covenant there stating that we got to apply by the zoning restrictions.
Well, again, we're not talking about zoning restrictions. We're not, none of what you've said is a zoning restriction. If your homeowners association covenant say you can't do this on your
Can't
property,
dump any garbage on your
Right.
back.
that's
Yard.
for the homeowners association to enforce. And in theory, if the homeowners association chooses not to enforce it, a private individual probably, and I'm not going to give you legal advice, but
Right.
probably could
Go to court.
go to court and enforce that covenant
Understood.
themselves.
But the homeowners association would have to go to court to enforce it themselves.
That's the problem we have, is little schmucks like me can't afford to go to court, but the association uses all our dues to, to back these schmucks up there, you know what I mean? So, okay, but I appreciate the comments, thank you very much.
And I would make one more, whether I should or shouldn't is beside the point, I guess. Since we were
You don't
about to
have to,
wind,
Kevin.
since we were about to wind down here.
Yeah, we were almost done.
First-
He said he was done.
Money's on a quarter.
Yeah, you already went way past your 5 minutes, even though there's a give and take, but I would just comment and say, that office over there has an awful lot that they work with and deal with and investigate and pursue, and Dan could back that up. You're not always going to see action that you want, or action in as timely a manner as what you would like to see, or an outcome that you would like to see, but know that they are aware and they are working diligently to enforce our zoning resolution. But that is, given the number of people in the county and given the number of people in that office, that's a large task.
Yeah, I got that tape from the last time we had the meeting, just that now that the board is now saying, it's pretty much fair game, that's what pisses me the frick off, you know what I'm saying? So.
Well, and if your board is saying that, that's on them, that's not on us.
I agree.
Because we can't control that.
Okay, I
Okay.
appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Nadine?
Thank you. It's Nadine Peterson. I have a couple different questions here. The first one is, what is the current status of the annual audit?
The current status is we filed with the state an extension because Sam DiNardo, our accountant, had asked for the time to do a full audit and a well put together audit because last year's was cut short. He didn't have the time, so he asked for the extension to September 31st. We expect that we will have a meeting sometime in August where he will present his findings, and then we will be filed, and we're pretty sure we'll be filed sometime by the end of August, our audit with Sam DiNardo to the state. That's currently where we're at. Otherwise, he's still moving forward with his part on it. We've given him all the information that he's requested, so we're waiting on him now.
Thank you. The next question is, there's a workshop today for an interview of the finance director, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So this person is being interviewed. Were any of the prior applicants interviewed?
No, ma'am. The committee went through the prior ones, and only one came in as a possible conditional candidate or applicant.
Okay, so this person then is qualified to be the finance director for Custer County, has all the qualifications?
We have been given a report from the committee members. They've all given their report to us on that person's application and resume, as well as Lisa Haman has given hers. Lisa Haman will be in the on the interview this afternoon. I'm hoping that's what we had planned on, and we are moving forward with at least this interview, and we will see what comes out.
Okay, so the committee members agreed that this person was qualified.
I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is that they have given their opinions to us, and we have moved forward with this interview.
Also,
Okay.
Nadine, HR was the first cut, and we made sure that the minimum requirements were there to be considered. Doesn't mean they're qualified, doesn't mean they're acceptable, because the interview actually wraps that up. That's one of the reasons you need to do the interview, to understand some of the things that are questioned or unclear in the written words. So that's why we're going to continue with this. Also, I understand there are other applicants. We haven't closed any of the application process yet, and I think there's one probably in the mail that we got just today, I think. So we're taking this because this one's stale right now, not stale, but it's still viable. And if we get an application that is acceptable, we want to take it first chance we get. That's why we're having the interview.
Okay, and are you going to make any changes to the job description, as in raising the salary limit?
We talked about that last time and we did raise it, but we're not entertaining any more raises right now. We're gonna try to hold the line and see who comes in. We've got a lot of advice from the Society for the Professional CPAs or whatever it was called on how to advertise for it, because there's more to the job. Other people might want a job that has better living conditions but with less money. So we still have that out. We also know that in the times that we have where it's expensive to move, people are reluctant to pull up stakes now and pay the cost of moving into a place where they can't afford the house. So we've got to see how the economy rolls out as time goes on too. So we're trying to bridge the gap.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, not seeing any other public comment. That being the case, Jim?
Jim Shadlin. I would like to ask a quick, easy question, I believe here. I remember a time when Road and Bridge used to cut the weeds along the side of the road. They no longer do that.
They're doing it.
They're mowing. I know they've been mowing out on the valley floor. I don't know, some of the gravel roads don't get that as quick as the others, but they are mowing.
I can testify to that because the machine they have is a real good one too. I'm impressed with it, actually. Doing a great job.
I was just curious, I'm off 254 out there and the weeds are getting high enough for regular cars coming around.
That's why.
If you can't see
Isn't that the
coming.
last road they're doing?
You know, I think they said that was on
I understand that. Thank you for your answer.
they were holding off on that until
Let's mention it.
they were holding off on that until Highway 96 between here and Pueblo gets mowed. So, but no, they are working on them. They're again, one more large county, so be patient. Thank you.
I was curious. I was not trying to yell at you guys. I mean,
No, that's a valid question, and so thank you.
thank you.
All right,
I just have
so
one quick question.
Get 5 all.
can you ask it after the meeting? Because I've
Oh, yeah, no problem.
yeah, because we can visit after the meeting on that.
No problem.
Yeah, so I'm trying to stay true to our rules here that we've got in place. So the meeting will be adjourned